Please be sure to donate to my Patreon to help support the channel. Link in the description down below.
It's showtime.
What's up, guys? Django Fett here, back with another awesome Mandalorian podcast for you guys. So once again, joined my buddy Captain Awesome.
Hey guys.
And this one you guys have been anticipating for, and now it's a good time to talk about the spoilers on Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Oh, it's showtime. So,
It's
yeah.
showtime.
It's showtime.
So what we're planning on doing right now is talking about pretty much everything that happened in The Last Jedi with full-on spoilers. So all the scenes that stood out to us, we're just going to be talking about. So just me and Cap, and just go through it with you guys. So, and everybody's seen the movie, so it's fine for us to talk about it. So let us start with the first sequence. All right. We open up with Poe with the epic star battle. And he starts with this Yo Mama joke in the beginning with General Hux.
God. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really want to go into that, but he ends up, it ends up going south. He destroys all the turrets on this dreadnought. And apparently there's only like 12 fucking turrets. And when compared to a Star Destroyer, which has like freaking, I don't know, hundreds, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's pretty forceful, Poe. He's actually completely different than he was in The Force Awakens, I would say. And he ends up wanting to assist that he wants to attack this dreadnought because they've been destroying the rebel ships, and this one in particular he wants to take down. Leia doesn't want to send bombers or do anything. She wants to retreat. But for some reason, Poe wants to do it, and all of a sudden, Leia, out of nowhere, sends the bombers. And the slowest fucking bomber ships I have ever seen. Why not use smaller bomber ships like in the Empire Strikes Back or, those ones? But they send the biggest and, gigantic bomber ships, and they send like millions of these motherfuckers. And why not? And it only takes like one to take care of the whole job. The logic in this movie is thrown out the fucking window compared to The Force Awakens. It makes
trust
Force
me,
Awakens
we'll get more into the logic later.
Yeah. But that right away was not a good sign from what I was seeing. And we have the sister of Rose actually dying in that. She was actually a more meaningful character than fucking Rose.
She contributes to the plot at least, so yeah.
Yeah, so the rebels almost died in that whole battle. Just risking it all just to destroy one freaking dreadnought. Even though there's probably hundreds of these dreadnoughts in the Empire. Don't really get that. But anyway, we go on to Rey and Luke with the cliffhanger from The Force Awakens. So you guys remember that. From The Force Awakens, it just ends right there. We wanted more, and we speculated so much. And then fucking Luke just throws the lightsaber off a cliff.
For basically cheap humor purposes, pretty much.
Yeah, and the thing about this movie is, it's all forced humor, and most of the humor doesn't work.
None of it lands, yeah.
So it just goes nowhere.
And to think, you would think that in that moment, that big moment at the end of The Force Awakens, like in the first scene with Luke and Rey in The Last Jedi, that he would be asking her questions like, why is she here? Like, how did she find him? And why does she have his lightsaber? But instead, he just throws it. And you're like, what? That doesn't make any logical sense. It's basically a part of the trolling that the director Ryan Johnson was doing, and we'll get more into that later as well. So yeah.
Yeah, he makes a lot of jabs at The Force Awakens. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
And then there's a reference of actually Luke ends up literally milking a cow alien out of nowhere.
A sea cow or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of, we actually talked about this earlier, and it's a metaphor and meme of Luke as Disney milking the cow, which is Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
So that's a meme right there. But yeah, that was just an awkward scene, and there's plenty of those in this movie, and the whole movie just feels awkward. We go to Finn, who wakes up in another bizarre scene with water all over his, that gets out of his costume for some reason. And
he's just walking around looking all goofy as well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the trend of the whole movie, practically, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Goofy.
Yeah.
We then go to Kylo Ren. Oh man, Kylo Ren. Talking to Snoke, the Emperor, the big baddie. We've all been anticipating for. And he's actually, I'll say this about Ren. He's actually not bad in the beginning. So it seems.
You can tolerate him in most of this film up to a certain point.
Yeah. And it's just like, I think the second half he fell apart, or was it like, I guess, I don't know.
It's the second act with the throne sequence, but we'll get to that later. Yeah.
But he's actually not bad in the beginning. Snoke pretty much is making fun of him of what happened in The Force Awakens.
You got beaten by a girl!
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Beaten by a girl who had no training. He actually, says all of this while he's talking to him. Like we, the audience, knew about it too. That's just, that's stupid too.
It's like he's taking the piss and taking a shot at The Force Awakens again, like Ryan Johnson is. Yeah.
Quite a lot at The Force Awakens. But Leia eventually demoted Poe because he was reckless and acted like an idiot. Because he was willing to risk the entire rebellion in this last pointless mission, which I didn't understand. I don't know why risk it all for that.
Mm-hmm.
They get attacked, and Kylo Ren is actually about to blow up the ship, the command ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Leia died in that whole sequence.
The ship got blown up. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody flies out. And it seems like Leia's dead, and everybody else in there is dead.
It was very abrupt the way it happened. When I first watched it, I was like, wait, that's one of the most iconic characters ever, and you're just gonna kill her off like that? Okay, then. But then, obviously, something else comes up.
Yeah,
so,
it was just so out of place. You would think that would happen later, but it just happened so soon.
Yeah, the timing is strange, yeah.
Then, this fucking scene happens. We zoom to Leia's face. And, it seems like she's dead, and it lingers. And it keeps lingering. And we find out she's alive. She opens her eyes, and she fucking flies like Superman and flies right back into, the entrance of the ship. And she's alive.
Let's just say that's one of the most what-the-fuck moments in movie history. That's all I'll say.
I think everybody's jaw was dropping the whole time when that happened.
When did she ever learn to use the Force? And also, last time I checked, she just got blown up. So how would she even be conscious enough to even do that? Plus, when did Sith or Jedi even know how to fly in space at all? I don't remember that at all in the Star Wars universe history.
Yeah, in the expanded universe, yes, but not this. Nothing in this. Anyway, we get to Admiral Holdo, who's now taking over command.
Oh, wow, what a great character.
The purple-haired feminist bitch. And the whole time, she doesn't tell anybody what she's doing because she fucking knows everything.
And the thing is, if she had told everyone what the plan was, then everyone would have remained calm and no one would have wanted to do anything reckless, aka start a random mutiny. So yeah.
And eventually they're involved in the slowest spaceship chase for the whole movie. And it feels like it goes on for like an hour.
Yeah, it's similar to The Empire Strikes Back, where Han Solo and the group are getting, chased by the Star Destroyer and everything, but that is at least perfectly paced, where this just drags on.
And they, for some reason, they stopped doing light speed for some reason, or hyperspeed, or whatever you want to call it. They stopped that because they were being tracked. But why not just go to a planet and then just regroup and, reinforce your position from there? And, you can get attacked or whatever. That would have been a better thing than what happened here. They're just like, what if the Empire just comes out of nowhere and just blasts them at any point, like any moment?
It's like they did do that. They did find a planet and regroup, but the problem is they did that too late. It was like right at the end of the movie, so yeah.
Yeah. Plot holes out the fucking wazoo. It's quite a lot with this movie.
Especially the pacing is very weird, yeah.
Yeah, and as you could tell, we're not talking about positive things about this movie because there's not really anything positive about this movie.
I think the only thing I'll give this film is the movie when it came to cinematography and like visual effects and stuff. Oh man, it's pretty good, pretty nice. That is it, really. There's not much that I can really say that was too great about this film. There's a lot of problems, so yeah.
Isn't that like the trend of Disney Star Wars nowadays? It's like flair over substance. Like just all flashy.
Yeah, like The Force Awakens had that. Rogue One, the best thing about that was obviously the visual effects and cinematography, but also the action sequences were very good. But besides that, there's no real substance to it. So yeah.
But the best sequence is the tentacle scene, of course. The tentacle monster scene.
Yeah, because that contributed so much to the film. That's another story for another time. Yeah.
Alright. Next sequence we have Rey and Luke, and they start their lessons, which is like 5 minutes. Apparently Rey knows everything, I guess, after that. She's literally a Mary Sue.
She never struggles at all either, and it's just it just makes the training really boring. Like, I don't know, like you never see her struggle, she just knows how to do everything. It's like instead of them trying to make her more, I guess, people feeling more emotionally connected to her and like more sympathetic and less of a Mary Sue, they just made her more of a Mary Sue in this. So yeah, by doing that.
Yeah, and it's just like people are saying that, oh, she's not a Mary Sue and all this other shit. Well, this kind of reinforces it now with this movie.
That made it even more. She was probably more of a Mary Sue in this than she was in the fucking Force Awakens.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make sense. They just want to make everything quick so they can just like, oh, they make this great hero without any training or anything like that, but just like, people are looking at this stuff now. They're analyzing it more. People are not getting dumber. Yeah. They're getting smarter now.
Yeah, well, at least half of us are.
Yeah.
But I can't say the same for the rest of the world. But I think that's the thing. Do you know what it is? What Disney Star Wars is lacking in this era? The word development. Because no characters develop. So yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we get the alien nuns and the porgs. And literally the porgs are a marketing ploy to sell toys from the very beginning.
Yeah.
That's it. They're cute little alien things and all the little kids will get them.
All the alien new creations, like all the creatures, like the foxes at the end, like those white crystal foxes, whatever the fuck they were, and the horse aliens at the casino planet, and the nuns and the pogs. They're all for toy sales purposes, but the pogs were probably the most obvious one.
Yeah, they'll do this, but like their toy sales are still like on the decline, and they'll they're still like sitting on the shelves from like The Force Awakens. Like still that movie, like it will have like literally shelves of Star Wars toys, and they'll never be sold out. Just a big difference, like back in the prequels and original trilogy.
Yeah.
But yeah. We then have Finn meeting Rose.
Oh god, here we go.
Who is the fucking worst. Jar Jar Binks is horrible, but fucking contributes more than fucking Rose. She is the worst character ever, I would say.
Do you wanna know what's funny? Like, do you remember her first line? And she's like, "You're Finn? The Finn?" And I remember when I first saw that, and I just went, "Oh no, she's one of those characters." So,
psychopathic fat bitch.
But I think the thing about it is with Rose, like, look, her and Finn, we'll go into the adventure more in detail later, but the whole adventure they go on is a complete waste of time. Because it leads basically to nothing. It's a complete failure. Plus, the two characters have no chemistry, and I don't know, it just felt completely forced and pretty boring to me most of the time, so yeah.
Yeah, so the Finn and Rose sequences are the most pointless out of the whole movie. If you just cut that out, it's like literally like 15 to 30 minutes. This movie could have been bearable at best.
Yeah.
But they end up going to the casino planet, the famous casino planet, which is absolutely just the worst, the most pointless sequence in the whole movie.
Yeah, where like an alien puts coins in BB-8 over and over again.
Yep, the movie really emphasizes on these random CGI aliens more so than the prequels ever did. And it seems like the Disney stuff too, like just like the random CGI aliens and stuff like that, just random sequences. They'll emphasize it quite a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of bizarre things in this movie, yeah.
Didn't understand that. Then we have Kylo Ren and Raid. They start talking to each other in different locations.
Yeah.
And I feel like it never worked in this movie and just didn't flow. I understand the Force element and all this other bullshit, but it just like it felt so forced and contrived, and it just got me out of the film completely.
And I think that everyone's been reminding me, and I think you're gonna probably remember this. I think this has been done before in Star Wars. Like I think Revan and Bastila, and like back in the day or something with Knights of the Old Republic or something. Everyone was telling me that was kind of similar to the way they used to communicate or something. That everyone was telling me. So yeah, I think that's kind of where they got the idea from. Let's just say they didn't execute it too well.
I think they got it from that, but I think they mainly got it from The Empire Strikes Back. With that sequence, with
Vader and Luke.
Luke, who's about to, fall off the Bespin thing, and he calls out to Leia. So I think they were trying to replicate that, but they failed spectacularly.
Oh, and also remember at the end when I think they, saved Luke at the end of Empire, I think he can hear Vader's voice, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's similar to that too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they were trying to replicate that, but it didn't work. It's not even close to what they were trying to project.
Well, I think the weirdest part is the shirtless scene. That was the weirdest
one. Yeah. Let's get into that. For some reason, Ren is shirtless out of nowhere when they start talking, and he looks like the biggest fucking creep. Just out of fucking nowhere. He's shirtless. He's staring, and he knows that Rey is watching him. He's like, "Yeah, you see me shirtless. Like, yeah, you want some?" Like, it just like, what? Like, it was like when people saw that, just like people were like taken out. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, I would have understood if, like, say she started like seeing him, right, and then he's in the. When sometimes when you're getting changed and you're preparing for like another mission or whatever, you're preparing for work or something, I can understand that, like that type of thing where he didn't even know she was there, but and he was getting changed and stuff. I can understand that, but in general, it's weird. It was just a strange scene. Plus, him watching her was just creepy. So yeah.
If there's one good thing, it's now become one of the biggest memes out there. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then we go to the mutiny that happens with Poe, and I'm actually on Poe's side when it comes to mutiny because Holdo doesn't do shit, and she's letting everyone get killed practically. And yeah, it just out of nowhere, Leia comes and fucking stuns Poe and actually takes sides of Holdo instead of Poe because she thinks that Holdo has a plan, even though she doesn't. And Poe's like, his criticisms and his reasonings are actually valid. I didn't understand that.
Do you know what's weird? It feels like Poe is basically the audience. Like, we're like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? Like, we don't know anything about her. We don't know what her motivations are or anything, what her plan is. Tell us. You know, and in Poe, when he was doing the mutiny, I was like, yeah, I agree, because, well, someone's got to do something, or they're all going to fucking die.
Yeah, it's just... Holdo, Rose, and a couple of other characters were just ended up being just really bad standoffs.
Yeah.
Then we get into the famous sequence, one of the best parts of the whole movie, and that's the casino planet with Finn and Rose. This fucking sequence lasts around like 15 to 30 minutes, and if it had been taken out completely, it would have been fine. Even then, I think the movie is still pretty long, like 2.5 hours, close to 3 hours.
Yeah, and also remember, they said that the original cut was 3 hours, so we're lucky
Fucking
that it
A.
wasn't. Yeah.
And especially in this sequence, they emphasize the CGI aliens quite a lot. And it's just like, you know, seeing shit like that, and then you see like the regular, you know, aliens with like the suits and stuff, people in the suits, like it takes you out of the film. Like you don't know what is believable and what isn't.
Because when you see the CGI, you know, aliens, it's like it's so noticeable to the point where it's distracting you, and you feel like it's not real anymore. You feel like you're watching a cartoon. When you're seeing people in suits or practical effects and stuff, it looks more real. So you're kind of like, yeah, I feel like I'm in the movie. I feel like I'm enjoying this, and I can actually take this seriously. So yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, these CGI for the aliens, and you would think they would emphasize this quite a lot. You'd think it would be one of the best elements, but it ends up being the worst for some sequences. Like the cinematography is still pretty good for the majority.
Yeah, like the cinematography, you know, at times is visually amazing. It's just there was some moments with CGI which was really poorly edited. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and we'll get to another sequence I definitely want to talk about.
Oh yeah, that defines that.
Yeah. Then we move on to the Rey. Rey goes into a cave. Multiple Reys appear, and you find out her parents are nobodies.
Well, I think obviously the throne sequence, we're going to get to that. That's kind of like where the big reveal happens.
Oh,
but
yeah.
In that scene, I think it's more because I remember when I first watched that, and you know, where the two people are walking in the reflection, and then it's just her.
Mm-hmm.
It was like in the beginning, I didn't understand the symbolism behind that, but now I think I do. I think it basically means her parents are nobody. So yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, that's the only thing I can take from it, because if not, then that whole thing is a fucking waste of time. So yeah.
And then we find out that Luke is hiding a secret.
Oh god, this is one of the most controversial things of the movie. So let's go into what it is, this whole thing with Kylo Ren and Luke, shall we?
Alright, so the truth with Kylo and Luke is... What is it, Cap?
Basically, okay, what happened is this, and this... Let's just say it angered many people. Okay, pretty much, Luke says that basically... that Kylo Ren attacked him, right, in the night that basically they killed the new generation of Jedi, right? He confronted, basically, Luke confronted him, and then he attacked him, and then he woke up and everyone was dead, right? Everything was on fire, and, he was upset and everything. Then Kylo Ren says his side of the story, and it shows that Luke was going to kill him. And at the time, Kylo Ren was a kid. Look, we're talking about Luke Skywalker, one of the most iconic heroes ever in movie history, attempting to kill a kid, for Christ's sake. Then, there's another twist, another complexity to this whole thing. Luke apparently could see in Kylo Ren's mind that apparently he was already converted to the dark side by, by Snoke and everything, already corrupted. So he got his lightsaber out for a second and was thinking of killing him, but then chose not to, but it was too late as Kylo Ren saw him. So he attacked him. And that's the whole reason why Kylo Ren turned to the fucking dark side. And also another point that needs to be made. Okay, Luke Skywalker was the only person in the original trilogy that believed in the redemption of Darth Vader. And he even succeeded in redeeming Darth Vader, his own father, at the end, as we all know at the end of Return of the Jedi. If he was the only one that believed in him, then wouldn't he believe in saving his nephew from Snoke? Just saying.
You would think.
You would think. But what's your thoughts on that whole sequence, Django?
Yeah, I mean, just like right there, that's the start of how they're killing the character of Luke and betraying what he actually is. He's a master at that point, and you would think he'd be wiser and, more experienced and, kinder towards people. But apparently, he has dark side in him, I better kill this motherfucker now. That's just like that's his mindset now. That's not Luke at all. Like, he believed, what happened with Darth Vader, and you would think it would appear again where he would try to save somebody once more.
Well, he was the only one that believed in him. Like, even Obi-Wan and everyone in the original trilogy gave up on Vader's redemption. So,
that's the thing too. Yeah, and that's his master right there.
Yeah.
So it just shows a lot right there. They're just slowly killing off the character of Luke, and it only gets worse.
Yep.
Then Rey leaves the island, and the famous Yoda sequence.
Oh god, here we go. Yeah, you can describe this.
Okay, so Yoda appears out of nowhere in some of the worst CGI I've ever seen for, I think, 5 minutes. And then for some reason he turns into a puppet. He looks fine. But like the first sequence he was in, the CGI, it looked so awful in the whole movie. Yeah, it looked really bad. And then all of a sudden, they have this tree, like the Jedi Tree with all the knowledge and stuff like that. It's like this from the start for the Jedi. It's been a very famous tree or whatever. All of a sudden, Yoda calls down the Force and uses the Force to destroy the tree. And he's just laughing about it. He's like, yeah, fuck you, Luke.
Yeah, he's acting like fake Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back. And he's testing Luke, yeah.
For some reason, he has Force powers again. Like, that's not how that works. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
When can a Force ghost use Force lightning?
Because here's the thing, like, if they're dead, but they're Force ghosts, why can't they just go fight against anybody else and then just use the Force powers and just kill everybody?
Yep. Shits all over the Star Wars mythology even more.
What about that,
But my thoughts on the whole CGI and the whole Yoda thing. Okay, Yoda does not act at all like Yoda, and him destroying the Jedi Tree and all the knowledge and the history of the Jedi is so out of character.
Yeah.
Plus, let's get to the CGI, okay. When he first shows up to talk to Luke, in some of the shots, he's CGI, you can fully see it. He looks weird, and it's very distracting and noticeable. But then the moment it goes a few minutes in it, like just as you said, Django, like at least maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes, he turns into a puppet. And it's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, was there like a reshoot or something where they changed it? I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah. I think the CGI was the reshoot.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. And then they were like, okay, let them just put the puppet sequence or whatever.
Yeah.
It was so out of place.
And the thing is, Yoda laughing about it too, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the Jedi ending, whatever, fuck it. They just need to.
You want to know? You know what that metaphor is for me? It feels like Disney laughing about how they're like literally destroying Star Wars.
That's another metaphor of Disney just
Yeah.
fucking up Star Wars.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Rey getting captured, and Finn and Rose get on the Imperial ship.
Also, another thing, the way she gets captured is she basically gives herself over. She gives herself in, kind of similar to Luke in Return of the Jedi when he gave himself over to the Empire. So yeah.
Yeah, so this movie is more reminiscent to Return of the Jedi than it is Empire Strikes Back, which many people like myself thought it would just be Empire Strikes Back a ripoff, but it ends up being more of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Anyway, Captain Phasma appears.
Oh, fuck my life.
And as soon as she appears, she gets in a fight with Finn and gets killed off after like 5 minutes later.
That's literally her screen time.
And then all of a sudden, BB-8 gets on an AT-TE or whatever, and which looks horrible as well. But that's like after the throne sequence.
It looked ridiculous, didn't it, when that happened with
Yeah.
BB-8?
Yeah, and it just kind of like, you know, makes BB-8 more silly than he already is. Like, he was fine before, like this R2-D2 type, but now he's just like, it's just a little too much now.
It's so funny to know that BB-8 was like kicking so. If you think about it, he kicked loads of ass in The Last Jedi because there was that point where, you know, when they're escaping, right, and he's with Benicio del Toro's character, and he's literally attacking, you know, guards and everything, and then obviously the part when he's on the AT's walker, and he's shooting like stormtroopers and stuff. It's just like, what the fuck? Why has a little droid suddenly become the badass of the movie? So random.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And before even that Captain Phasma sequence, and with Finn fighting off Captain Phasma, we have Snoke, Ren, and Rey in the bridge.
The famous throne sequence.
Throne sequence, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's reminiscent to Return of the Jedi. And a lot of shit happens.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain it?
Yes.
Alright. Oh my god, here we go. Okay. Basically, first Snoke, he's, you know, talking to Rey. He's talking about how he's been looking for this new Darth Vader and everything. And then apparently he says he's gonna, he starts, using the Force on her to torture her and everything and move her around. And then literally he starts. Eventually he gets to the point where he puts her right in front of Kylo Ren. And he says, she's kind of giving that look to Kylo Ren to help her, but then he starts saying, I can feel and, see everything Kylo Ren feels. And, kill her, Kylo Ren. Prove your loyalty, all this bullshit and everything. And then, while that's happening, the lightsaber, the blue lightsaber of Luke, that Rey, took with her, is moving right next to Snoke. And he's not noticing it. And literally, as we all know, Kylo Ren betrays Snoke, and he gets decapitated. He gets sliced in half, and he looks ridiculous. It was kind of a comedic death that made everyone laugh in my screening. And then afterwards, they fight the guards. They're basically a rip-off of the Imperial Guard in the original trilogy of the Emperor. They fight them. It was kind of like you could say the Jedi and the Sith, the light and the darkness teaming up and everything, which was kind of an interesting idea, but then that gets thrown out the window a few seconds later, because basically the twist is not Kylo Ren betraying Snoke and saving Rey. It's not that. It's basically, the twist is there is no twist. Kylo Ren did not turn good. He was basically still evil, because he still acts like a fucking retard afterwards. So, then they have a little tug of war with the Force, and they destroy the lightsaber, and they both get knocked down. That's how the whole scene ends.
Yeah, just having Snoke dying just right there, and saying how, I can do anything, I'm so powerful, and then he fucking dies by, you know, allow a little lightsaber right next to him and just slicing him in half.
Yeah, it's like a huge contradiction, isn't it? It's like, how did he not see that betrayal from Kylo Ren? If he could see and feel everything he was, saying he was, then how did he not see that? Plus, another thing, how did he not notice the little lightsaber like moving right next to him? Just,
Yeah, so that was fun. And then Holdo, Admiral Holdo, ends up destroying the capital Imperial ship by doing one of the craziest things I've ever seen. By using light speed to go right through the giant ship and basically just destroying it completely. And sacrifices herself in a way that we don't really understand or know this character at all and expect it to care about. But you had, everything from previously that we just never cared about at all. We never liked you in the beginning.
So there's no emotion behind it at all.
Yeah, exactly. So just right there defeats it. Like, it should have been Leia.
It would have made more sense if it was Leia, because as we know, Carrie Fisher's dead in real life, rest in peace. But that would have made more sense if she did the epic sacrifice with the light speed. So yeah.
Yeah, and then, if you want to do something for Holdo later, that's fine. But that would have actually made more sense.
Yeah.
And you think the movie ends right there. It sounds like a really great climax. But no. It keeps fucking going.
It drags. The momentum's dead by then, so yeah.
Ren ends up taking over the Empire and makes General Hux look like a fucking fool, as to be expected. Hux is pointless at this time, at this point now. I don't really give a shit about Hux. He had his time in The Force Awakens. Now it's just like it's dragged on too much now, and I kind of just want him just to die or something. And then we have Finn and Rose. They escape back to the Rebels on the planet. The Rebels, get on this planet. There's like these fox things, and there is a huge battle that ends up happening with the Empire and Rebels, much akin to Battle of Hoth. And we have like this, I guess, nice little battle. I guess Finn, the Empire has this cannon. This giant cannon that's about to destroy the Rebels. And Finn decides to sacrifice himself. Because, it would be important to stop the Empire once and for all. It would be a really great move.
And it would give him something to do in the film.
Yes. And, Cap, why don't you go on the next point?
Oh, God. Here we go. Basically, when he's gonna make this sacrifice, Rose, the idiot, crashes into him, possibly killing both of them, and literally the First Order destroy the door, because basically if he had done that sacrifice, then the Resistance would have been safe in there. They wouldn't have been able to break in the First Order. But no, she literally almost gets everyone killed by doing that. Plus, she does the most cringiest line ever, "Love will save us," to Finn after, she kisses him, which is the most forced scene in movie history, so yeah.
Even the kiss, too, was pretty forceful, because, like, Finn didn't expect it, and he's just like, his eyes are still open, and just like, bitch, I'm not into you.
I'm into Rey.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man, fucking Rose.
That was one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen in a movie in general. I was about to say final act, but in a movie in general.
That's definitely top 10 or top 5.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Don't sacrifice yourself for, to help people or anything. Do it for love. Love will save us. Fuck all that shit and everything, you selfish bitch. Oh my god.
So it seems like the Rebels are about to die. All of them.
Yep.
And then Luke appears out of nowhere. And, gives this dice to Leia, which is from the Millennium Falcon.
Which is a nice moment, yeah.
It's a nice touch. I like that.
Yeah.
and ends up battling Ren so that the rebels can escape. But you find out he's not there.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this is, okay, there's 3 hints that he's not really there. 1, his beard was not grey anymore. He was young. He looked more younger again. 2, he had his blue lightsaber. And remember, the blue lightsaber got destroyed in the tug-of-war of the Force between Kylo Ren and Raid. And 3, he got shot like 100 times by all the AT-AT walkers, right? And literally none of them even scratched him. Nothing at all. Nothing affected him. So it was obvious to me he was either a ghost or a hologram or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was the telltale signs right there.
And also, Kylo Ren and Raid, they barely have a fight at all. It's like, because they do this whole setup where, you know, he walks out of the smoke, and it's kind of an epic setup. It's kind of an epic entrance. And then, you know, Kylo Ren comes down off the spaceship, and then they're about to fight to get their lightsabers out, and you're thinking, okay, at least this may salvage the damn film. But instead, Luke just dodges him, like, maybe a couple of times, and then the fight basically ends, and he disappears. Yeah, that's it.
And apparently he used all of his Force power and fucking died.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not making this shit up. He actually dies by using all of his Force.
This is legit in a movie, people.
Like, here's the thing. Like, Carrie Fisher actually died.
Yeah.
So you kill off Luke, but not Leia, who's actually dead in real life.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
Look, I can understand that they wanted to do, like, I think the main reason they did that whole thing with Luke is because they wanted that really, you know, amazing shot at the end of the twin, of Luke looking at the twin suns, but at the same time, it would have added more weight and more depth if he actually went there himself physically instead of just turning up as a ghost, because that just made him look lazy. And then killing Moff was, let's just say Disney gambled really badly there, because Han Solo and Luke, you know, Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford are both still alive, you know, thank God. And, you know, their characters are dead, but, you know, Carrie Fisher sadly died, and Leia's still alive, and it's just, they went with the wrong one to go with, let's just say that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, go on.
Well, I just wanted to end by saying that the rebels escape and live on for another movie, and then we have the Broom Kid, and we can get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, the Broom Kid who uses the Force for a second, and just has that shot of him looking at the stars, and it ends there.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the movie. I think with the Broom Kid too, like, with Ren, he was going on by, we don't need the Jedi, we don't need the Sith, and Yoda saying, oh, we don't need the Force, we don't need the Jedi, I guess. And it just kind of defeats the purpose with the ending, with the kid just using the Force. It's honestly reminiscent to with Anakin in a way too. So I didn't understand that.
And the thing is, as well, it's like when Luke died at the end, it just made me go. It made me think, like many people probably thought, and think all of Luke's hard work, him, Han Solo, Princess Leia, the Rebellion, everyone who's involved, Lando, Chewie, everyone, in the original trilogy has all come to nothing. Everything has just reverted back to normal. You know, the First Order killed most of the Resistance. Han Solo, Luke died. It basically made the original trilogy pointless and devalued. So yeah.
Yeah, so let's get to our final thoughts now.
Yeah.
I mean, since we're already talking about it.
Yeah.
So why don't you start, Cap?
Okay. For anyone wondering, for me with this movie, I don't hate this film, but I definitely don't love this film. I would say, if I'm going towards more of the positives and negatives, I would have to say I dislike this movie more than I enjoyed it. And I understand why everyone is hating it and angry with it because it, shits all over the mythology and lore of Star Wars. It, you know, it basically ruins the latest trilogy that's happening right now, and also it devalues the original trilogy, and it ruined Luke Skywalker, one of my favorite characters of all time. So I am actually definitely one of those people who is definitely pissed. But and I would have to say, with many people saying it, I definitely agree that The Last Jedi is definitely one of the worst Star Wars films I think I've ever watched. Maybe the worst. But then again, Han Solo's coming in a few months, so wait and see. So yeah, but that's my thoughts.
Alright. So for me, this movie kills everything that's Star Wars and makes it the worst Star Wars movie of all time. And I'm like with you, Cap. I think it's the worst, and I don't hate it. I think it's a horrible movie, but I don't hate it. I'm just a little disappointed more than anything. I've just kind of been like, whatever, it's another Star Wars movie. But yeah, it's the worst. I just don't think there's anything special with this movie whatsoever. It should be forgotten. And, just seeing the division with the media and, people nowadays, it just seems like there's like a big divide. With Rotten Tomatoes, we saw the big gap. Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 90%, and then the audience score ended up being like 50%.
Yeah.
So that right there is a big divide, and seeing the actual media actually attack the people who are giving this movie for legit criticism and actually judged it. Just go around and attack them and say they're trolls and stuff. That seems like really wrong to me. I don't like that at all.
They're basically alienating most of the Star Wars fan base. So yeah.
I don't like that anyway. But it's like the majority of people do not like this movie, and we're not the only ones that think that. So
there's a lot of people. Let's just say that.
It just feels like everything that happened in the original trilogy, they killed off. Killed off what made the original trilogy great, and the main character of Luke, and just literally just killed him off.
It's like they've done two things with this trilogy, and in a way this era. They're rehashing a lot with a lot of nostalgia porn and everything in the original trilogy, but at the same time they're killing Star Wars by devaluing everything we've ever loved growing up. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you Disney for the yearly releases too. That doesn't help at all.
And also, fuck Rian Johnson's new trilogy. I'm not watching it. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Rian Johnson, he's the most overrated piece of shit out there.
He is the definition, people, of one-hit wonder with Looper. Let's just say that.
Yeah, can't wait to see his career go downhill.
Do you see? He's fighting the fans every single day. It's hilarious to watch.
It's pretty bad when trying to defend this movie, and especially on Twitter, which is not really a good place to defend it. Yeah. But, yeah, he's gonna do a new trilogy, and fuck that trilogy royally. Just fuck that. I'm not even gonna bother watching that. I'll consider Han Solo and the last Star Wars movie, but everything else, I'm done at this point. I'm actually...
And also... I also want to make a quick point as well, actually. I know that basically people hated, what Abrams did with The Force Awakens. And I agree, it was a rehash and it was logically flawed. At least that guy's a competent filmmaker that knows what he's doing. Rian Johnson had no fucking idea what he was doing in this movie. This movie was way too big for him, and if you actually look at Abrams, at least he's proved himself with Mission Impossible 3, with the Star Trek films, with Super 8, with other movies. He was ready for Star Wars, or something as big as that. With Rian Johnson, he did Looper and a couple of other movies. I'm sorry, he needed way more time to build himself up and prove himself with consistency and momentum before he could have a project as big as this.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of like the Kong Skull Island director.
The rookie director.
Yeah, he's a rookie director, and he ended up doing Kong, which we didn't end up hating, but we just didn't like it. Like, it was just not a good movie. But yeah, that was too big of a movie for him, and so it's kind of like a similar situation.
but just less controversial
Yeah.
compared to The Last Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, they should have just hired like another big director out there. I mean, there's plenty out there. I don't understand why they just went for like a little small guy out of nowhere. I guess they wanted to control him, but they ended up just giving him everything. I don't understand that.
Yeah, like this guy was the director. He was the screenwriter. He had full creative freedom and control. It was weird.
And this is Disney we're talking about. They're the controlling type.
They're very control freaks, yeah. Especially with Marvel Studios, with the MCU as well. So yeah.
So I'm actually at a point where I'm actually selling all my Force Awakens toys. I'm being dead serious. Like I'm actually just selling them all now. So this is how much I just hate this new trilogy now, and I just want nothing more to do with this new Star Wars movies. But I know you motherfuckers will force me to watch it.
Don't worry, you know, because Django, that's the real victory. So
love will save us.
Love will save us. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
What a fucking terrible film! Oh my god.
Yeah, so we pretty much do not like this film whatsoever. Nothing really positive to say about it, and yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll consider Han Solo.
One more thing. There is one more thing to say. When it comes to Rian Johnson, he has totally fucked over J.J. Abrams in Episode 9, because literally, Abrams has nothing to work with at all. It set up nothing for Episode 9 at the end of The Last Jedi, because at least with Attack of the Clones, it sets up the Clone Wars, it sets up Revenge of the Sith, and Padme, and their love story continues as they get married at the end and all the stuff. You get what I mean? Like, and all that stuff. And Sidious's manipulation grows. And then with The Empire Strikes Back, you have Luke finding out this horrible thing about his father. Like, what does he do? And Han Solo gets frozen in kryptonite. And all the did I say kryptonite? I've been carbonite. God damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then pretty much, then you have Lando making that promise to redeem himself and save Han, and all this stuff and everything. Like those two movies, The Empire Strikes Back and Attack of the Clones, knew how to set up the final film. Last Jedi felt more like a standalone, and felt more like the final movie in the trilogy than the actual sequel in the middle of the trilogy.
Yeah, you don't know what they're gonna do with the new movie, and it's just like J.J. Abrams is gonna be a part of it, and not Rian Johnson. So it's just like Rian Johnson just screwed up the whole thing completely.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, it's like people are saying Return of the Jedi rehash, like, by Abrams, but then again, as I said, Rian Johnson didn't do anything to set up the fucking last movie, so I don't know.
JJ did that with his movie, Force Awakens, but now
he set up a lot of things,
But now, Rian Johnson just screwed him over. So there's that.
He took all your expectations, your hopes, your dreams, and your theories and threw it all out the window. That's what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi.
Yeah, he just screwed up everything. Completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie was just fucking dumb. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. We just went through our spoiler discussion. Let us know what you think of this video in the comment section below. Please be sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel, Django Fett, and subscribe to Captain Awesome's channel. I'll put a link for his channel in the description down below. Great guy. Definitely recommend checking out his channel.
Also, follow me on Twitter, basically, as well. The link should be in there, too, in the description. Plus, another thing... Oh, you stalk him. And also for everyone, I had fun, doing this first ever spoiler movie review with Django and everything. I can't wait for many more movies in 2018 to do this movie, bro. It was fun.
Yeah, can't wait to see what we do next. Should be a surprise. We'll see how that goes.
You slacked. So, yeah.
Stop it.
Come on, don't bullshit me. But yeah.
Oh man. So thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys hearing this whole thing. If you have already, that's actually close to an hour. That's pretty crazy. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast episode.
Bye, guys.
See ya.